Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday, and thank you so much for joining me talking all things Masters of the Universe. Today on the channel, we're going to be continuing our look at every version of Man at Arms that has come out so far in the modern day collection, which is Origins, and we'll be continuing the Origins line, finishing up the Origins line, and then we'll be ending the video with the CGI versions of Duncan or Man at Arms. And thanks to Pixel Dan and Dark Horse Comics, we'll take a look at his 2000X version, which is a very cool version of him. All right, now if you are new to my channel or first time watching, I hope you will subscribe afterwards. All right, I hope everyone hits that like button or that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so much for doing that. That means a lot. All right, hit that notification bell when you know I upload new videos, and please share this video who has a passion and a love for collecting all things Masters of the Universe. Without further ado, let's take a look at the rest of the Origins figures of Man at Arms. Now, if you do not see a Origins figure on this video, please check out my first part 1 on the channel of Man at Arms. Okay, so here we go. So we have, of course, his Turtles of Grayskull version right here. All right, here he is in the packaging. Of course, you have He-Man and Leonardo right there. You got the Turtles of Grayskull. Man at Arms, the weapons master in a half shell. There he is in the packaging. All right, you got the Master Universe logo and the Turtles logo in the front of the packaging. You got the oozed out purplish rocks blasting around it right there. Very, very cool. Back around. Well, it's absolutely, look, I mean, what an amazing shot right there. Absolutely, gorgeous, beautiful artwork right there of Man at Arms taking on Megator Krang right there. The shield can be removable, and you can use it as a shield, I guess. I mean, yes. And the cross cell, the other figures, and there's old Duncan right there. And speaking of Duncan, there he is on the turntable. Looks absolutely amazing right there. Let's take a much closer look at the figure here. A very cool figure, an amazing looking figure right here. All right, I do love the look. I like the samurai looking armor of him. A different take on his mace right there. The only thing I wish that this particular Man at Arms was allowed to do for us is we can remove the helmet from the figure, but unfortunately it is not the case. You can see it is a part of him, okay, but it's very flexible. All right, I love the overall design, the color scheme. It looks incredible. I love the shell on the knee. I mean, it looks really good. I love the old-esque, samurai armor of the figure. I mean, really cool. Absolutely amazing. It would have been also nice if this was like a soft, good fur, and a cape. Would have been really a nice touch on this particular version of Man at Arms. But still, an incredible figure, and I'm happy to have it in the collection. All right? And with all the Origins figures, as we all know, we can customize, you can transform, you can create your own version of Man at Arms in this particular world. If you like this armor, you can use any hits, you sculpt, pop the head off, pop the arms off. Every version, as we all know, of Origins figures, you can customize and create an amazing version of Man at Arms in your loose collection. But very cool, awesome. What a great version of him. All right, take a little spin real fast. So like in my part 1. Look at Man at Arms. What has been your favorite version of Man at Arms that's come out so far? It could be the 80s version, the classics, the 2000X, any version of the Origins line. MasterVerse has quite a few amazing figures of Duncan, CGI as well. So let me know in the comments below, if you wish, what version of Man at Arms do you like in your collection? All right. We're about to move on to the next version of Man at Arms in the Origins line. All right. Of course, a more recent version, and that is his cartoon collection version, or the Filmation style version. All right. There he is. I'm going to get him on the turntable here. All right. So there he is. I mean, what can I say? I mean, the cartoon collection for me is absolutely nailing the look of the Filmation style versions of all the characters. Man at Arms, He-Man, Skeletor, you name it. I'm looking forward to getting, Clawful, Spikor, Triclops, Buzz Off, Ram Man, Orko. Mossman. I mean, Sorceress. I mean, you name it. King Randor. Hopefully, Queen Marlena. Even some Princess of Power figures. But Man at Arms is no different. He looks absolutely amazing. And here's the packaging. Of course, you have the 80s Adventures right here. The He-Man and the Master Universe Filmation style logo right here. Man at Arms, Heroic Master Weapons, of course. Got the Filmation style version of Grayskull in the background. And there he is in the packaging. What he looks like. Comes with his mace. Alright. And, of course, all the cartoon collection figures come with a very unique item from the Filmation episode. Alright. Got the cartoon collection logo here, or I like to call it the Filmation logo. All right, some beautiful, bluish purple sky, absolutely amazing. All right, goes around the back. Of course, what is it? The stasis ray came from the episode The Dragon Invasion. Right there, we got Ram Man right there, and I really do hope we get a version of Ram Man in the cartoon collection. I think I've heard rumors of Manny Faces coming very soon. Alright, but there he is. There's old Duncan right there. Of course, the cross sale of the other figures of the cartoon collection from Beastman, Skeletor, of course, and He-Man. But let's take a much closer look at Man at Arms right here in the cartoon collection. Look at this. I mean, right out of the Filmation cartoon. What a awesome, awesome figure of Duncan right here. I love the look. It looks absolutely amazing right there. I mean, a very unique and different take on the mace or mallet, or you want to call it the club, because we're used to seeing the club with these little spikes around it. For the first time, it doesn't have that, but still, what a great looking figure here. Amazing. I love the detail. Of course, the cartoon collection is a little bit taller than the standard Origins figures. More muscular definition, a different body type, but still a great figure, and I'm happy to have it in the collection. What an awesome figure. And for me right now, I would say, if I had to pick right now my overall favorite version of Duncan, in the Origins line, it's this one right here. Because, some of you, or maybe all of you, I grew up on the Filmation cartoon. That's where my passion and of He-Man started. It was that cartoon, and Duncan was a major part of that cartoon. I absolutely love this version of Duncan, and I'm curious if they're going to continue, if they're going to give us any other versions of Duncan, in this line. All right, let's do one more spin really fast of Man at Arms in the cartoon collection. All right. And after this, we have basically one more version, in a way, of Duncan, or Man at Arms, in the Origins line. But it's not actually Man at Arms, okay? And give me 1 second here as he does one more turn really fast. All right, and I'll tell you who I'm talking about. All right. You know what? While he's turning around, let's take a look at his 2000X version of Duncan right here. So here's his 2000X version right here. Came out in 2002. There he is. And one thing about this version of this Duncan, which I loved on the cartoon, is I like the fact that his arm could transform into that blaster right there in the cartoon. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I loved that. It was like a part of his arm that is transformed to to change into that blaster. What an awesome version of Duncan right here. And there's a little fun factoid right here. I'll pause it right there. You guys can read it. All right. Like many of the figures in this toy line, Man at Arms also has an action feature triggered by a button on his back that allowed him to move his arm up and down to bash the baddies with his mace. Awesome. Very, very cool. And there he is, side to side, front to back. There's that button right there. What an amazing version of Duncan right here. Alright. Now, oops, my cartoon collection version kind of fell over, but that's okay. That's okay. Alright. Now, the next version, or the last version of Man at Arms, well, it's not really Man at Arms in the Origins line, but he is a Man at Arms-esque figure, in this crossover event, and that's why I'm including him in this look at Man at Arms figures. And he was part of the Masters of the WWE Universe. And who I'm talking about, of course, is Sergeant Slaughter. Okay, so in this particular crossover event, Sergeant Slaughter, was their version of Man at Arms. Okay, so you get the Master of WWE right there, Universe, Sergeant Slaughter, the heroic Sergeant at Arms, and there he is. There's no Sarge right there with that, that version of Man at Arms-esque armor right there. He comes with his green, shin guard, and if you look around the side right there, you get the same guard, pretty much the same armor we've seen and known with Man at Arms. Okay. He even comes with his own version of his mace. All right, I'll flip it around the back. Right there, there is with their version of Rey Mysterio as Stratos. But there's old, Man at Arms or Sergeant at Arms, right there. Comes with his own version of that green mace. A very cool idea, making Sergeant Slaughter their version of Man at Arms in this particular world, this crossover event. And here's the cross-sell, the other figures that came out, particular in this wave right here, from Bret Hart to Andre the Giant. Well, you have Junkyard Dog and Sergeant Slaughter. And if you particularly like this version of the armor, you can like I said, with the Origins line, you can come up with some amazing versions of Man at Arms in your collection. Alright, but that's it. That's so far. I believe that is every version of Man at Arms that's come out in the Origins line. Like I said, if you've not seen any of the Man at Arms, check out part 1, because we looked at, of course, the Lords of Power version, the 5-pack. We looked at, Wave 1 version of Man at Arms, to the Eternia Palace Guard Build-A-Figure, in a way, of Man at Arms, and Serpent Claw Man at Arms. So check out part 1 of the rest of the Origins figures of Man at Arms. Alright? Now moving on, finally, to the CGI versions of Duncan, or Man at Arms. Alright? Now this first one we just saw just a few days ago, so we'll do a nice little skim. Now here he is. Let me get him on the turntable here, if I can. Now in this particular universe, this is a much different take on Man at Arms, a much younger version of Man at Arms. All right, like a whole different story with this Man at Arms. All right, he's not even father to Tila. Okay, like I said, a very young, very inexperienced version of Man at Arms, in a way. He was also part of Trapjaw's crew before he, learned his, that he was on the wrong side and became a side of good and a protector of the, of Eternia and Grayskull, and a helper and a friend to Prince Adam and He-Man right here. So here he is right there. There's his mugshot right there, or his, of Man at Arms, this version of Man at Arms from the CGI show. A much younger take on him. You got the Grayskull from the CGI show. You got the He-Man, the Master Universe logo right here. It is from Netflix. And there he is. There's old Duncan real fast. Got the Power Attack feature. We got Man at Arms right there. Flip it around the back. You can see. Awesome take on him. Of course, the cross-sell. And here's old Duncan right here, out of the packaging. Like I said, a very different take. A much younger version, very inexperienced version of Duncan, in a way, in this particular world here, in this universe. But awesome, okay? Like I said in my previous videos of the CGI line, this particular line is more kid-friendly, of course, but it also pays more tribute to the 80s line of figures. No articulation in the elbows or the kneecaps. You can't pop the head off and stuff like that, but he does also bring back that action feature call-out with the spring-loaded waist with these figures here. But very cool. I love the see-through visor. You can see the face sculpt in there of old Duncan right here, or Man at Arms. All right, very cool, very cool. All right, now this next version of Man at Arms is pretty much the same figure here. Okay, and this was a Walmart exclusive, and it's the much like taller version of Duncan right here, and it's the 7-inch scale version of Duncan right here. So it's the same exact figure, you know, we just saw just a moment ago, but it's just in a, you know, a taller form basically. But here's the packaging right here. Oh, Duncan. Unfortunately, this version of Duncan, you cannot see that transparent visor. So you cannot see the face sculpt, unfortunately, with this version of Duncan. Alright, but there he is right there in the front of the packaging. Got the He-Man and Master Universe. This was a Walmart exclusive and a big peg warmer, at least in my area. You know, or I guess shelf warmer for the longest time. I'm curious, you know, at your local Walmart, do you have any of these figures still, you know, on your shelves right now? Because it took a long time for these particular figures to finally, you know, go on clearance. But still, I'm happy to have this version of Duncan in my collection. Look back around. So basically, just a, you know, just a little glamour shot right there of Duncan of the 7-inch scale. All right. And finally, everybody, my final CGI version of Duncan that I have in my collection, okay, is his version right here, riding the sky sled. Okay, there he is. I mean, an awesome look, almost like a, you know, like a mini comic figure or chase figure. It's the same exact figure we just saw right here from the original, you know, standalone retail version. Of course, in blue to, you know, show the same color of the sky sled cycle here. I love the orange right there. You can see the face sculpt looks absolutely amazing. Got the gray skull and the lightning in the background. Netflix right here, very cool. Unfortunately, no malice that he comes with. It's just the cycle alone. Okay. So if you do have this version of Duncan right here with the mallets, you can, you know, put it, of course, with this version. You know, a very cool look of the blue, and you see the yellow right there on his shoulder pad right there. See the front of the cycle right here of the sky sled. This is their version, of course, of the sky sled in this particular world. All right. But very cool. Very cool. And my final version of Man at Arms in the CGI line. Alright, so if you give me 1 second, everybody, I'll get the other figures up from Man at Arms, and then we'll end the video. Alright, so give me 1 second, everybody. Alright, everybody, there we go. So here's every version of Origins and CGI versions of Man at Arms in the collection. Doing nice. Like I said, if you don't see an Origins figure of Man at Arms on this video, please check out part 1 on my channel. Alright, and thank you for doing that. Alright. Alright, I'd like to take the time now, of course. I'm going to roll fast. I'm going to show you the 2000X version roll fast once again. Alright. Now, I'd like to take the time now, of course, to thank my subscribers. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please hit that notification bell when you know I upload new videos. And tomorrow we'll be finishing off this amazing look of Man at Arms with part 3 of all the MasterVerse figures that has come out so far, and any other versions of Man at Arms, which could be Funko, miniature figures, you name it. All right. So I hope you guys will join me on Wednesday for that. All right. So I hope everybody has a great Tuesday. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care, and have a good one, everybody.